Blessings, 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 family. How everybody doing on this great Sunday, Super Sunday? Praying that all is well with you and your family. Because all is well here with me and mine. How my mind renewers doing today? Praying that y'all is doing very fine on this very fine Sunday. Hey, listen, family, we got to get into it. You see the thumbnail. The number one reason why marriages work. And I'm a proponent of it because me and my wife going on 30 years now. June 11th. 30 years, family. Yeah. And I'll give you the secret to it because it's really not a secret. But I'll tell you anyway. As a matter of fact, the same thing it take for marriage to work is the same thing it'll take for marriage not to work. Yeah, I know. That sounds tripped out, but that's the truth. And I'm going to tell you just like this. The number one reason why marriages work, the number one reason, family, is the big C. It's communication. I'm sorry. Anything that you want to talk about that's connected to marriage, communication is the key to all of it. Whether it's finances, whether it's you're not into each other anymore, whatever the case may be, it's always communication. For instance, an example for like me and my wife got married in 1995. We've been married going on 30 years, June 11th. And trust me, we had our ups and downs. Like the first 5 years of most marriages, it's always going to be shaky. It's going to be shaky because it's got to find out whether or not you guys really truly love one another. Marriage ain't nothing. No, it's not a joke. You know, a lot of people get married and then next thing you know, they get a divorce. Me and my wife got married in June 11th of 95. My little brother got married about a month after we did. 6 months after that, him and his wife was getting an annulment. They couldn't even get a divorce. They wasn't even married long enough to get a divorce. They just got an annulment. My thing is this. If you really, really love one another, you know what I'm saying, and you really, really care for one another, then you got to see whether or not this is going to be the real deal. God honors those who are married, and who are wedded, and who are one. In God's words, God said, once we leave our families, once we leave our mother and our father, we cleave to our wives, or we cleave to our husbands. You know what I'm saying? And then we make our own family. And our family then is the most important family. Not your siblings, not your mom and your dad. You know what I'm saying? They're your initiated. They're your initiated family, of course, but at the same time, they're still a sidebar now because now you have your own family. And God bless all those who are married. Now, again, the reason why these things don't work is because of the lack of communication. A prime example with me and my wife. Our first 5 years in, man, I tell you, it was hard. It was hard. But I think the fact that me and her looked at each other and we was more like we knew how we were going to be without one another. So because we knew how we were going to be without one another, we didn't even want to take the chance or the risk being without one another. So what we did was we dealt with it. We handled it. And the best way we could handle it was by communicating. Now, to tell you the truth, I really didn't know this. This wasn't like I've been married 2 or 3 times before then. I didn't know. But I did watch my parents. Now, what really made me want to get married, to tell you the truth, was my parents. Because I lived in a 2-parent home. You know, and I kind of wanted that, you know what I'm saying, for my life. It didn't really turn out totally like that, but I am married to a beautiful wife who I love dearly. And in the very beginning of our 5 years, we wanted to pretty much wring each other's neck. It got to the point where I was working like 2 jobs at a time, or a job and a half. And she was complaining about all kind of stuff, man. Nails, and she wanted to get her hair done. She can't do this, she can't do that. And I'm telling her like, well, look, you know what I'm saying? We had went through some struggles. I think she got laid off her job at the time. So by her being laid off her job, I picked up extra work, but it was just enough to really pay the bills. And it really wasn't enough to, you know what I'm saying, for her to do all the other luxury stuff that she wanted to do. Besides, I wanted to do my own thing too once we paid the bills. So we and her kind of tugged between that, you know. But thank God that He allowed us to have a form of communication with one another, that we always, from the very, very beginning, when we hooked up, it was always communication. And I stress that. As a matter of fact, when we first got together, um, it was like everything was beautiful when we first got together. We just called it the honeymoon stage. And everything was great, right? And I explained to her, you know, what I went through. She went through a heartbreak in her last relationship. I went through the same thing in my last relationship, you know. I think I told you guys in one of my last videos exactly what had happened with in my last relationship. My last relationship was my baby's mama. And I walked in on her having sex with another man in our house. Yeah, yeah, family. Yeah. It was a serious soap opera. And through the grace of God, that I didn't end up killing nobody and end up doing no time in a joint and killing my son's mother. So he'd have been out of two parents. One would have been in jail for the rest of his life, me, and the other one would have been dead. But thank God that He walked me straight through that. And it was hard. So when I met my wife, I explained all these things. Like, if you ever get tired of me and you don't want to be with me no more, and you feel like, hey, we gotta cut it right here, just let me know. Because it wasn't like we was even tired of, wasn't married. We were just courting one another, you know. But at the time, I did fall in love with her, you know. And when she came to me, and she ended up finding somebody else, we was together about 6 months. After our 6 month thing, she figured that, you know, she didn't want to be with me. Somebody else she wanted to kick it with. But she came and she told me. She granted me that. That's what I mean by communication. She didn't have to do that, but I'm glad she did, because she understood the communication that I had with her when I told her we can't do this anymore. Oh, and a side note, right quick. You see my sweater, y'all? This is 7 P's of Life sweater. And I'm hoping to get a boatload of these Carhartt sweaters. They're Carhartt sweaters, good thick sweaters, and they got my brand on it. 7 P's of Life to renew mind. So hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll be selling these online. So all my mind renewers, I'm getting my community together. I need you guys to come on in, and I need you to join the community. I need you to be part of it, because we're going to go live. We're going to do some lives, and we're going to have some communication. We're going to have some chats, and we're going to get to know one another even more. But that was a side note. Now back to the message. The regularly scheduled program, as they say. Yeah, me and my wife, we you know, she let me know, you know, off the rip. Yeah, was I hurt? Yes, I was hurt. But what I respected was she respected my wishes. And she came, she talked to me, and she told me, you know what I'm saying, what the deal was. Was I hurt again? Yes. But I moved on, and I respected her for it. Now, months went down, months went past, and you know, she was still coming over and stuff, but we wasn't doing nothing. One thing I like about her too, she ain't gonna be going in between two men, and I thought that's what she was gonna be doing for a minute. But she wasn't messing with me. When she said it was over with between me and her, it was over with. And she dealt with dude. But but about 3 or 4 months after that, she didn't tell me that her and dude wasn't dealing no more. So I had to ask her, because when she pulled up on me like she used to when we was together. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. You still got somebody you dealing with? No, we ain't messing around no more. This, that, and the other, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. So I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, before she told me this, you know, she had been coming over quite a bit. And I was wondering, like, you know, is her and dude still kicking it, you know? But she never said nothing. So I didn't really want to rock the boat, and I didn't want to say nothing, you know? So we let it ride. Now, with me saying this, you hear me what I'm saying now, that wasn't a good thing to do. That was no communication in that. That we had communicated with that in the very beginning about that. You know what I'm saying? She had told me initially that her and dude wasn't kicking it no more. Then we could have moved forward, you know what I'm saying, and been a little bit more better in how we approach things. Because after all that, she asked me to marry her. And I was like, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But I understand where she was coming from, because she realized she messed up. And not only that, her mama told her she messed up. And her kids told her she messed up. You know what I'm saying? And, why she ain't messing with me no more. So I didn't really have to do nothing. All I had to do was continue to live my life. And like my mom always told me, what's meant to be gonna be. So when we did communicate and I found out exactly what the whole deal was, so I was like, so what you trying to do? She's like, I'm trying to be with you. So we linked back up. And like I said, she asked me to marry her, and I told her no. You know what I'm saying? Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to link up with her. I wanted us to get our own place and the whole 9 yards, do the man thing, But other circumstances dictated something different. And now that I sit back and I realize that was the best thing that we could have did. Her mom at the time, that when she was living at the time, God rest her soul, she couldn't be by herself. Mom she was diagnosed as a schizophrenic. So that's one reason why, my wife told me at the time, like before we got married, I can't leave my mom. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I understood why. But her mama welcomed me with open arms. You know what I'm saying? Now, she opened me with open arms and everything. And she treated me like I was her long lost son. And that was my girl. That's my girl. I kill a rock about her, And we really got close. And so I understood that she couldn't leave, she couldn't go nowhere. So this was the communication we was having. So I'm like, I don't want to, like live with you. She said, well, no, it ain't really like that. You know what I'm saying? We live together. You know what I'm saying? And just think of it as your house as well as, I think of it as mine, And so we moved in. We stayed together for about a year before we got married. And that's the best decision I ever made in my life, All this is about communication. Anything that me and my wife ever went through, it was done with communication. Now, trust you me, I wasn't the perfect husband. I mean, I did some rock dumb stuff, okay? Trust me, I did some rock dumb stuff. And I know that's not even a terminology, but that's the only thing I can come up at the present moment. Listen, my wife should have divorced me a long time ago. Seriously. That's how bad and the things that I carried her through during our relationship. But even through all the things that I carried her through, we still had a communication, and wide open communication. She knew everything what it is to know about me. And I knew everything it is to know about her. That's my baby. That's my rock. And we went through hell and high water together. Now, some people would sit back and ask, well, how did you know that she was the one? I didn't know that my wife was the one, truly, until after the 5 years were up. After the 5th year of our relationship, I knew she was the one. After the 5th year, now dig this, after the 5th year of us being together, 5 years later, after that 5th year, now we're together for 10 years. It is now 2005. Okay? And I go to jail. I do a prison bit, as I talk about in my book, The 7 P's of Life to a Renewed Mind. I tell this whole story in my book. But I did the prison bit. And I brought my wife down with me. She ended up having a felony herself. Now you tell me how many women gonna be dealing with somebody that brings them down to that level. My wife ain't never been on a level like that. She ain't never been in jail. She ain't never barely. Only thing she had was some speeding tickets because she heavy on the level. She heavy on that metal. But other than that, my wife, no, ain't no prison for her. But I took her through hell and high water. Man. I did. And when she told me that she wasn't going nowhere, I'm going to go in there and do this. She told me, you go in there, you do that time, you get your mind right, and you come out. And you be right, not just towards me and the family, but you be right towards yourself. This was the communication that me and my wife had. Now, mind you now, I did 2 years. I got out in 2007. And my wife was still riding and dying with me. She rode with me like 4 flat tires. 4 flat tires. Not 2, not 1. She rode with me like 4 flat tires. Me and her, our compatibility is so keen. Sometimes it scares me. Like, sometimes I know what she's thinking. She know what I'm thinking, you know? But yeah, if you want to have a solid marriage, you must have a solid communication. That's the only way that marriage is going to work. Or, of course, the grace of God. You got to have that. I realized 5 years after we had got married that she was actually the one. And then it was even proven to me 5 years later after that when I ended up doing prison time and ended up damn near got the house took and everything else. I owe that woman everything. That's my ride or die. And there ain't nothing that we can't talk about. If something going on with me, she gonna want to know, baby, what's going on? I can't hold it back. I'm got to let her know what's going on, and she gonna do the same with me. Baby, what's going on? You all right? Me and my wife have an open line of communication that is beautiful. Now that took work. That wasn't overnight. I just told you a few incidents that happened throughout our marriage. And like I said, we'll be married June 11th, 30 years. This is a woman that I am invested in. This woman is invested in me. That's my queen and I'm her king. Marriage is not about you do your thing and I do my thing. It's about us doing our thing together. Marriage is about 2 imperfect people coming together and having a blissful relationship. 2 imperfect people having a perfect relationship. Perfect relationships, people, doesn't mean that you don't go through your trials and tribulations with one another. That's how you learn. That's how you get to know one another. You know? You know her moves. You know her swings. She know your moves. She know your swings. This is what marriage is about. The number one reason is communication. If it's finances, it's communication. If it's cheating on each other, it's communication. If you got to go out your house to go sleep with another woman or sleep with another man, y'all have a lack of communication. Something ain't right. If that man ain't pleasing you, you need to have a conversation with him. If that woman ain't pleasing you, you need to have a conversation with her. Communication. It don't matter what the situation is. You need communication. God has given me and my wife so much grace in our marriage. We are two imperfect people that when people see us from the outside looking in, they say, y'all still together? Or when they see us together, they be like, boy, y'all still together. I'm so glad y'all, because I just knew y'all was going to be together. These are people that got together with their spouse and with the people that we used to be with, kick it with, and they ain't together no more. And they look at us like, y'all still together? Yeah, still together. And I ain't going nowhere. And she ain't either. She'll tell you the same thing. I'm not saying that like I got her locked down. I'm not saying it like that if you take it like that. Let's be a little mature here. But no, she'll tell you she ain't going nowhere. And I ain't going nowhere. I got too much invested and she got too much invested. We went through too much. I took her through too much. It's time for her to reap the rewards now. And that's all I'm doing right now in our relationship. Is making sure she reap the rewards. Well, family, look like my time is almost up. Jesus, where does the time go? Listen, family. Again, the number one reason for a successful marriage is communication. Period. You show me a marriage that is a great marriage without communication, or a great marriage without God. I knew 5 years in our relationship that God had a lot to do with our relationship. I swear, I just knew that we was going to get a divorce. And I knew it was all on me. I wasn't faulting nobody but me. But my wife is I just love her so much. She is so strong, man. Kind of reason why I got to leave right now, because I got to go pick her up. Got to go pick my baby up from the job. But listen, family. Anything that I can help you with in the 30 years that me and my wife been together, leave a comment. If you digging what I'm talking about, subscribe to the channel. Because everything that I talk about is all about the renewal of the mind. No matter what the subject is, it's about the renewal of the mind. So family, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to leave you with this one little quick story before I go. Good friend of me and my wife's. She's no longer with us no more. The young lady I'm referring to, God rest her soul. But her and her dude was together like 13 years, right? They wasn't married though. 13 years though they was together. So they decided to tie the knot. And we all happy for them and everything. So y'all been together 13 years, might as well tie the knot. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Why? When they tied the knot, it exposed so much non-communication. It was incredible. At least it was for me. Because they wasn't even married a good 6 months. Matter of fact, they wasn't even married a good 3 months before they end up getting an annulment. And now they ain't there. And now, well, she's gone now, but they end up getting a divorce. And my wife was like, does that make any sense? How do you be with somebody for 13 years? Y'all get married, and then you get a divorce or an annulment in 3 months, and you break up for good. And then, but it's like I told my wife, I said, because they think that because they got married, that they had to change their relationship. Because that's what they tried to do. They tried to change it. Now they got papers on one another. Now it's like, like you think you got you a slave now. Now you think you got you like you own somebody now. And both of them were acting the same way. Usually she'd go out, he'd be like, have a nice time. Now he got married to her. Now it's like, where you going? How long you gonna be? Where's all that coming from? You wasn't doing that when y'all was together 13 years. And vice versa. Same stuff. And I was like, that don't even make no sense. Why can't y'all continue to live like you've been living? Y'all was getting along real good. Now all y'all do is fight, cuss, scream, and now you want a divorce. All because in the 13 years y'all were together, in the 13 years they were together, family, they had no verbal communication for real. Not when it comes to being committed to one another. Meaning, they had no communication on once they got married, what's going to change? Is anything going to change? They didn't have that conversation. They thought that everything, well, at least one of the parties thought everything is still going to be the same. The other party, like, no, we ain't doing that. You my wife. You can't do this. Went to that month they got married, went out to the park, and he was acting belligerent to another dude because the other dude knew her and they were talking. And now you drunk and now you want to, man, come on, man. This is what I mean. You got no communication with her. Y'all didn't even talk about what was going to be like once y'all tied the knot. Did we have to change anything? Can we keep it like it's the same? Because it should have just stayed like it was the same. But now they want to own each other. Now you my property. Renew your mind, family. That's my nugget. If any of you out there that's going through that type of stuff, renew your mind. Come on. Please, renew your mind. Let me go. I already said I had to go, and I've been here longer than I said I was going to be. But listen, family. Drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about this topic. If you got a question, I'll answer it. If I can, I'll answer it. One thing for sure, and two things for certain. I never said I was an expert when it comes to marriage. I'm just experienced. Okay? I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm just an experienced 30-year person that's been married for 30 years and experienced and know what it takes to keep a marriage alive and working well. That's it. Until next time, keep it 100. This your boy Reggie T, and I'm out. And thanks for coming and joining me with another episode of 7 P's of Life to a Renewed Mind. And that's facts. Real talk. Renew your mind, family.